but I'm have a little talk about what I'm doing back at South Hampton. And so, fresh look at the Ichthyosaurus genus. So, the problem with this genus is it is what is known as a wastebasket taxon. You find it in some sedimentary layers. It's about this size. Oh, it's Ichthyosaurus. But as you can see from some of these pictures of these forefins, there's a huge amount of variation within them. So these are all considered to be Ichthyosaurus communis, which is, I think, the biggest wastebasket species of this genus of Ichthyosaurus. So what is defining it? Don't necessarily worry too much about the details about this, but this is a phylogenetic tree of Ichthyosaurus as a whole, from Motani, who did the first kind of big phylogenetic analysis of Ichthyosaurus. And the important thing to get at is that all these orange characters, out of 100 and some, are defining Ichthyosaurus based on forefin characters that I already showed have a huge amount of variation. So already there's a problem. That just goes into more details about what the characters are. This is kind of for a more technical talk, but it just points out that there's use of forefin variation. And then once again, I did a species-based analysis, very similar to that of Motani for my master's work when I was back in the United States at Bowling Green State University. And once again, I was getting some forefin characteristics defining Ichthyosaurus that surprisingly grouped together. And so once again, kind of a little bit of a problem. This kind of just was put in to show you what Ichthyosaurs are and what they look like and how they change throughout history. This is an older tree. It's based on something from 2000. There have been some slight changes as of late, but it was a very good slide together by Darren, so I thought I'd throw it in there. You can see they start out as more lizard-like down at the bottom, and then they get this typical dolphin type shape with a sharp tail. So kind of iconic, at least, I think, for the marine reptiles. So how do I plan to go about figuring out this genus problem? Well, the first thing I want to do is a new phylogenetic analysis of based on different specimens. So look at them, not really assuming that they're any type of species, and see how they group out. Do they group into the 3 or 4 species we know Ichthyosaurus to be right now, or is there maybe a new one? I want to do also a palynological study. So I'm going to look at teeny tiny fossils in the sediment, because a lot of these these specimens that we have are historic specimens. We don't actually know exactly which layer they come from. They just say from the lower Lias, which I will show you is a huge time frame. And so to do my third step, which is compare the new phylogenetic tree to the stratigraphic record to see if maybe there was anything going on in the environment to cause these changes that we see in Ichthyosaurus, I need a much more restricted time frame than just from the lower Lias, because they're all from the lower Lias, really. And so that can be kind of a problem to look at them in a more detailed way. Radu showed you a pretty good picture of this earlier, but this is what the world looked like in the early Jurassic. And if we zoom in on that little red square, we can focus on England, because that's where most of these Ichthyosaurs, pretty much all of these Ichthyosaurs are found. You can see, especially around the Dorset coast.
Later.
It doesn't work. It won't go.
The one in the middle.
Oh, there it is. Okay. Around the Dorset coast, that's where we're getting a lot of these. We could have a lot of influences from these big land masses, and so hopefully we can see that by looking at some of these very, very teeny tiny microfossils. So I get to do some really cool processing, which I had to throw in here because I use crazy things like hydrochloric acid, which is really scary. It can, well, if you guys see, do you have Breaking Bad over here? Yeah, so I've seen some, okay, so, you know, you can dissolve a body with this, and here I am using it to dissolve rock away, and the scary thing about it is you won't feel it hit your skin, and feel any pain until it's way too late, so I have to use all sorts of crazy equipment, and I look like a crazy mad scientist doing this, but I take little bits of rock, dissolve all the rock minerals away, and I'm left with some very small microfossils, so just go through a complicated process, but the cool part about it is I only need 5 grams, so a very, very small amount, which is good because I'm asking for different museums to do kind of destructive collections. So I'm asking them, please give me some matrix from your nice, beautiful specimen, and most people don't like to do that. No, it looks good how it is, leave it alone. But I'm hopefully going to be able to prove to them that I can give you more information if you give me this matrix. So I have to go through all sorts of processes, and then I come up with a lot of these little microfossils, so dinoflagellates, acritarchs, and things like that. Most of this is, well, these are some dinoflagellates, which I'm finding may be very useful for me to restrict these time zones, as well as acritarchs, that are these little kind of orange-colored things. They're very spiky and, I don't know, interesting to look at. You can kind of pick them out, but the ones from England in this time are really, really small, so I have to sieve at a really small mesh size to get all the material present. Sorry, on my other presentation that's not working. I had actual pictures of some of the things I found because I've processed 5 specimens already. Oh, and this is the stratigraphic thing I was talking about. So all these historic specimens are coming from somewhere in here, and I'm hoping to narrow that down. And it's looking like I might be able to narrow it down between some of the lower parts and the upper parts. And I was asked this question before, is shales with beef a real formation? And yes, it is. Some of the calcite that's in there looks like steaks or beef steaks, and so they called it shales with beef, the Victorian Museum. That is interesting. Using this new kind of technique, looking at these microfossils and hopefully narrowing the time down, I'll be able to tell more about all these historic specimens, including specimens we have at University of Southampton, which are pictured here. These are some really cool skulls. I don't have the cool camera techniques that were shown before, so I don't have better pictures or anything yet. But hopefully these acritarchs that I'm finding, and as well as dinoflagellates, will help show me more. I have more matrix to process once I get back from this, but that's kind of what I'm working on, and I'm just still in the beginning stages of it. So just thank you to all my sponsors, and thank you guys for listening. Do you guys have any questions? Well, hopefully I didn't talk